Halloween, costumes, candy, trick-or-treating. For most kids, it's a night of magic. For most parents, it's safe. The dangers are supposed to be ghosts and goblins, not the candy in their children's bags. But in 1974, in Deer Park, Texas, one father turned Halloween into a horror story. This is the case of Ronald O'Brien, remembered as the Candyman, the man who poisoned his own son with Halloween candy. It was October 31st, 1974. Ronald O'Brien took his two children, Timothy, age 8, and Elizabeth, age 5, trick-or-treating with a neighbor and their kids. They went door to door in the rain. At one house, no one answered, but eventually Ronald returned holding 5 giant pixie sticks. To the kids, they looked like treasure. To Ronald, they were something else. Later that night, Timothy asked if he could eat one before bed. Ronald handed it over. Timothy complained it tasted bitter. Ronald got him some Kool-Aid to wash it down. Within moments, Timothy was convulsing. By the time they reached the hospital, it was too late. The boy died within the hour. Halloween turned into a nightmare. At first, police feared the worst. A stranger had poisoned Halloween candy. The story spread like wildfire. Parents dumped their kids' candy bags. Candy was sent to labs for testing. Soon, investigators learned that Timothy's pixie sticks had been laced with potassium cyanide, enough to kill multiple adults. But here's the chilling part. The other 4 pixie sticks Ronald had handed out were also poisoned. By sheer luck, none of the other children had eaten theirs. The community panicked. Was there a madman handing out poison? It didn't take long before suspicion turned closer to home. Ronald Clark O'Brien wasn't some shadowy stranger. He was Timothy's father, and his life was crumbling. He was in massive debt. His car was about to be repossessed. He was behind on his mortgage. He was failing at his job as an optician. And investigators discovered something damning. He had recently taken out life insurance policies on both his children, totaling over $60,000, worth nearly $400,000 today. Police learned he'd called his insurers to ask about the payout at 9 a.m., the morning after Timothy's death. Detectives learned he had been asking co-workers strange questions about cyanide, about how much it would take to kill someone. He had even visited chemical supply stores, pretending to need cyanide for work. The evidence was overwhelming. Ronald O'Brien had poisoned his own son for the insurance payout, and to cover his tracks, he poisoned other pixie sticks, hoping suspicion would fall on a faceless stranger. The trial began in 1975. The press dubbed him the Candyman and the man who killed Halloween. Jurors heard the chilling evidence, the insurance policies, the poisoned candy, the testimony from co-workers, and of course, Ronald's changing stories. His defense tried to argue that an unknown madman must have slipped the poisoned candy to Ronald without him realizing. But prosecutors tore that apart. The jury took just 46 minutes to convict him of capital murder. The judge handed down a sentence of death by lethal injection. On March 31st, 1984, a decade after the murder, Ronald O'Brien was executed. Outside the prison, demonstrators gathered. Some carried signs. Others yelled, "Trick or treat," as the lethal drugs entered his veins. His crime didn't just devastate his family, it reshaped Halloween itself. For years afterward, parents warned their children, check your candy, don't trust strangers, don't eat anything unwrapped. Urban legends of poisoned treats and hidden razor blades spread, most untrue, but fueled by the real horror of O'Brien's crime. Ronald O'Brien used Halloween, a night of innocence and fun, as a cover for murder. He turned candy into a weapon, and in doing so, he scarred an entire tradition. That's why, nearly 50 years later, we still remember him as the Candyman, the man who killed Halloween. Timothy O'Brien rests at Forest Park Lawndale Cemetery in Houston. Even today, his grave is still quietly visited by family and friends. On October 31st, 2024, flowers were placed there to mark the 50th anniversary of his passing. His mother, Daneen O'Brien, divorced Ronald soon after his conviction. She testified against him at trial. recalling his strange behavior after Timothy's death and saying she never knew about the life insurance policies. And on the eve of Ronald's execution in 1984, she told reporters his death would bring a brand new beginning. She believed in his guilt, but felt no hatred, only, in her words, nothing. She never touched the insurance payout, calling it blood money. Timothy's younger sister, Elizabeth, was adopted by her stepfather and given a new name to shield her from the crime's notoriety. As an adult, she has chosen a private life.